So just focus on discipline, maybe consistency, trading the same pairs every day, watching the market, really refining your trading plan, journaling, trading a small live account to feel emotions. It's like any other job. Just go through everything and don't look at what the other people are doing.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another TFT interview. My name is Kenta. Today we're joined with Andrew NFX. He's a trader with us. He's gotten paid out actually over more than 100K. Welcome, Andrew.
Thank you for having me again. Second podcast with TFT.
TFT podcast number 2. How have you been since the last interview? Like, what's going on in your life?
The growth has been quite amazing in terms of funding companies. People follow me, they kind of know I went from basically at that time when I did that interview, that was actually my first interview with a prop firm because I was only trading with TFT and Maverick funds. I was having around $1 million in funding, and then Maverick funds happened. So then I decided to go all into the prop firm space, leave my personal trading aside and just focus on prop firm funding. So since then, that was last year, September, when I started with TFT. So the interview I did in around February. But yeah, the goal for the year was to hit $5 million in funding. And I basically just did that. This week, I hit $6 million in funding capital from almost all the prop firms are in the space. Yeah.
So just all the main prop firms, you have like full capital with them, like you're fully allocated?
Yeah, so I think I'm trading around 10 prop firms.
Okay.
But all the biggest one I'm max funded with, so maximum allocation, which is usually 600 or 400.
Is your a strategy, has it changed at all? Like your approach to getting funded? Like what does that look like?
Yeah, the approach to getting funding has changed because I went for a more aggressive approach. So I was risking 3-4% challenge phase just to get to the funded phase as fast as possible to get the simulated live account. So then I can throw that live account into my basically live portfolio, let's say, where I risk 0.5% to 1%, try to hit payouts, payout after payout, be consistent with it, play the long game, and reinvest some of those profits from payouts into more challenges. So that was my plan into getting all the way to $6 million.
Do you have like a daily routine that you go through, like as far as like getting your psychology right, or like is there some sort of...
Yeah, I know a lot of people have like a morning routines.
Yeah.
This is a very discussed topic in all business, all entrepreneurs. When you first start out in anything, you have a routine, like you want to wake up early at the same time, you want to read certain amount of pages, let's say, study. But I think once you kind of hit success in a field, you don't really need a routine. You just wake up and do what you have to do. So I don't think I have a specific routine. Just wake up, get to the office, drink some water, have a coffee, and just watch the charts. That's my whole routine.
Okay. And as far as like your trading, do you trade a specific session?
Yeah, so the way I trade is very, very simple. I was a simple approach. I only trade 3 pairs, Euro USD, GBP USD, and gold. So everything related to the dollar. I only trade London and New York between 2 hours London session and maybe 3 hours New York session. That's about it. And I only trade high quality, bigger risk from Wednesday, Thursday to Friday. So it's a very simple approach because I realized that during a day, there's only like 2 big moves you can have. So one is in London and one is in New York. Obviously, the bigger move and the actual move for the day is going to come in New York session. So I sometimes use London just to have a quick trade. And then during New York, have the trade of the day. Let's see if there's something happening.
Okay. Are you intraday trader, a scalper? What's your approach as far as...
I'm both. I don't really have an approach. I just understood how the market works. I don't have a set rules. Let's say I can trade the 4 hour, I can trade the daily, I can trade the 50 minute, the 5 minute, the 1 minute. It doesn't really matter. All depends on how the market is. If I see the market is not very volatile, then I can go on the lower time frames, have a better risk to reward, lower risk. But usually I like trading based on the 50 minute and 1 hour. So that's my best setups, let's say. Yeah, just focus on the higher time frame analysis, daily 4 hours, see the direction, use the times that I told you, New York Open, and execute from there. I think most successful traders trade that way, actually.
And then, I mean, you said you have almost $6 million in funding. Like, how do you approach, new challenges, and then as well as having your live funding? Like, do you share across all of them all together, or like how do you break that up?
So at this point, I don't really take any new challenges because there's not really any trustworthy platforms anymore. Because I've tried to go to other newer ones, and I ended up
Yeah.
getting like banned. Let's say I failed two challenges and I passed the challenge, and they're not willing to give me the funding account because my risk is too high, so they just ban me. So at this point, not really taking any challenges. In
Okay.
terms of capital, I mean, I structure it this way: 3/4 of the capital I have on a trade copier that I just trade from my personal account, just copy trades. And that specific capital I just trade based on my best setups, 1 hour, 50 minutes from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, maybe one trade a week. Not really focus on the payout date, just focus on a good return at the end of the month, and then just, get the payouts then. And then the rest of the capital I trade one by one. So let's say I have 5 accounts. I trade the first account until I'm in profit, like 0.5%. I go to the second account, I'll trade that one until I'm like 0.5%, 1% in profit. Then the third account, if that account goes in drawdown, I keep trading until it's in profit. And that way I try to secure some payouts while the main portfolio is, because when you copy trades between so many accounts, you can get into drawdown sometimes. And you
Okay.
really need to have good setups, to play the
Right.
long-term game. Yeah.
With the trade copier, have you had issues, let's say like, going for shorter moves or something? Would you have issues with slippage? Have you had,
Yeah, I've had issues but that's why I said I only trade on the higher time
15
frames
minute and the 1 hour?
yeah, so I can avoid
Okay.
differences between brokers, slippage. I
Right.
did have issues where, let's say, a trade was not executed, or some once it executed the trade twice.
Oh,
So
interesting.
no, instead of losing 1%, I lost 2% on that specific account. You can't really do anything about it. It's just the trade copier's fault. So, and also using like a higher stop loss. So let's say on Euro USD, maybe 15 pips, 20 pips. That way
Okay.
it's not going to be a big difference and a big slippage, because there are some brokers with quite a lot of slippage.
And then with your risk management, are you just like it hits my protective stop or it hits my target type of trader? Or is there like, oh, I'm seeing something happening here, I'm just gonna exit all my positions?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think if you want to be a good trader, you need to know how to manage the trade all the time. I can't really understand the traders that just, enter the trade and leave it be, like stop
Yeah.
loss or take profit. I think that's not very professional. You need to watch it all the time, because you may exit early, or you may close in profit early, or you may even extend the target. So I always watch the trade, and based on how it's developing, maybe I was expecting a bigger push and it's just
Yeah.
not giving it. Sometimes I even extend my stop loss. So if I'm
Okay.
risking 1%, I can go all the way to, like, say 1.5, 2%, because there are some situations where price is just pushing a little bit too much,
Okay.
and it's getting ready for the move, and I can adjust the trade that way. Or maybe I'm hedging, especially when there's a big move coming based on the higher time frame. You gotta extend the targets and kind of let it run until you see some signs of reversals.
Right. Okay. As far as like indicators, I'm curious, do you use any indicators, moving averages or things like that?
Just use a daily EMA just for
Okay.
the directional bias. Kind of look at it every week, let's say, because it doesn't change much. And I just use a custom indicator that shows my sessions. So my Asia
Sessions. Yeah.
range, my London range, New York range, but something else, no, not really. I'm just using prices. My charts are very clean.
Okay. And then as far as when you first began trading, did you have a mentor? How do you have the knowledge you have now to approach the market?
So yeah, everyone asks me this. My story was a bit different because I'm the type of guy that just does the work. I didn't really find any mentors. Of course, like anyone else coming into the industry, you see the Instagram influencers, the profits, everything like that.
Right.
So I did try what they were doing, but I didn't really find any success.
Hmm.
So I kind of wasted like a year with that.
Yeah.
And then I just figured, all right, if I can find someone that's actually doing it, because I didn't have any friends day trading or someone to mentor me, I kind of just did a lot of chart time. So I was watching the charts daily for 16, 17 hours, Asia
Yeah.
session, London session, New York session. I was watching it all to understand how the price move. I was just watching a few pairs. And if you do the same thing every day for 3-4 years, at some point, you're gonna have success with it. So I didn't really have any mentors in terms of trading now.
Okay. And when you first started, did you trade your own live capital? What was the process in the beginning? What got you hooked? Like, you know what I mean?
Obviously, the first I did a personal capital. I think I deposited like $300. I flipped that to like 3K in a day, 4K in the next day, and then lost it all.
Oh, yeah.
The usual story. Yeah, I was trading indices. I had no idea how they work, but I was just gambling. And then, yeah, took a step back, kind of learned the process, and then started depositing some more money into a live account, building that up. At first, I was doing a higher risk because obviously, if you have a low amount, you can really risk 1%. So I was kind of being more aggressive but more selective, and I built a pretty big personal capital. And then yeah, I started with prop firms. FTOMO was the first one, funding talent, MyForex funds, TFT, and yeah, so on.
Did you find like success within that first phase of like trading your own life capital, or did you just go straight like kind of over to the prop firms and found more success there?
No, the first success I had was with personal capital. That's how I started to make money, but it was a different thing because trading personal capital, I was trading one trade a week, two trades a week, but I was doing very big risk, you know, to try to grow the account and have bigger moves. So it was kind of stressful, you know, holding trades to, let's say, 30% of your whole live account. But the biggest growth I had was definitely with prop firms because I started to rewire my brain to think in terms of percentages and not really like money. And I really started to focus on more capital instead of bigger returns. So I went from like bigger returns to low capital to big capital and low returns. And I kind of find my best trading in this way because it's easy on the mind, you know, have a lower percentage return. Yeah.
Your approach is interesting because you did it start off in the beginning with these high risk or high percentage risk trades? Like, did you risk 3% in the very beginning, or was that something that you sort of molded into your strategy for at least getting the prop firm capital?
No, I was risking a lot at the beginning. I wasn't really even watching I wasn't even calculating the percentage risk. I was just doing lot sizes.
Yeah.
So I started with 1 lots, 2 lots, you know, 5 lots, 10 lots, 15 lots, and I kind of grew it. Then when I got into prop firm, at first, when I got the first like challenges, I just blew them very fast because I wasn't really calculating. I wasn't having a plan. And then I kind of understood, you know, what real percentage means and how you calculate your proper risk, how you start to manage the trades. And I built a very good foundation from there, which has helped me a lot. Yeah, it has helped me a lot.
And I'm assuming at this point you probably have like students that you work with.
Yeah.
Do you teach them like sort of an approach, like, oh, instead of going for 100K, maybe go for like 5, 10K accounts and approach them this way, or you know what I mean? Like, is there some sort of different?
I think I'm the first one who actually presented that that concept of trading, you know, instead of buying one account, buy multiple ones, because that's what I did.
Yeah.
Basically get funded. Yeah, with my students, I just kind of explain everything I understand about the charts and let them figure out how to create their own trading plan, because everyone is different. So what works for me may not work. That's why I like to teach them how the market really works, and then they can understand it and form like whatever works for them. And then, yeah, obviously in terms of funding, I just present what I found to work best. So yeah, like you said, instead of buying one 100K challenge, buy 4 25K accounts. From those 4 accounts, you trade them one by one. Maybe you have a higher risk just to get through them faster. But from 4 accounts, everyone should be able to at least pass one, you know, but don't do that, the whole hedging against each other, you know, you take 2 accounts, you know what I'm saying? That's not the way I teach. No, I think that's very bad for you. But just trade it like you would with higher probability setups, but just risk 4% or 3%, you know, just try to pass them in 1 trade, 2 trades, and that's it. Because that way, the faster, because you're going to lose money either way from challenge fees, right? So you'd rather do it smart. So instead of wasting $500 on one challenge, waste it on 4 or 5 accounts. You're going to pass 1 or 2, and then you use those accounts to make whatever is easy for you each month. So if for someone it's very easy to make 1% every two weeks, that's perfectly fine. You know, you just have one account that keeps on giving you profits, making 1% every 2 weeks, and then you start working more on gaining capital and just throwing it in the same live account, you know. So 2 different risk parameters. That's how I did it.
Okay. How long have you been mentoring students at this point?
I think almost 2 years now. I started in Romania because that's where I'm from. I started my training academy here, and 2 months ago I started teaching in English also.
Yeah.
I started getting students internationally, and I kind of want to go not too aggressive, let's say, on that part, because I think teaching is a very hard thing to do, and it's hard because of the people.
Right.
Because you give them everything that you use, and then maybe for them it doesn't work, or they just don't really want to put the work in. So I think teaching is not gonna be my future plan.
Okay.
I'd
So
rather just focus on trading. Yeah.
yeah, you have like a window that people can come and reach you. So
Yeah,
okay.
because I did it in Romania. I have over 800 or 900 students,
Oh wow.
and I
Okay.
really like worked hard on providing the best information there is in my own language,
Yeah.
which you couldn't find anywhere. And yeah, it's very hard because you teach some people and then they go do their own thing, and then they start selling
Right.
courses, or they
Right.
try to steal from your students, or I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah,
Some
I know what
people
you mean.
just watch 2 videos of the course and then they say it's a scam. And there's a lot of things when it comes to teaching, which I don't really like, and it really takes from your focus that I can
Right.
use my training better and make
So
more money.
you have a video course? Is that what you said? You have a
Yeah,
video?
yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
imagine my like course in Romania, my
Mm-hmm.
language has
Yeah.
over 150 videos. So
Oh
I don't
wow.
think there's
Okay.
any course even in English that has that many videos.
Right.
So I really put a lot of work into it. Yeah.
Have you done any like translations into English for those videos? Like was there some sort of maybe
No,
like
I
underline?
just did it all over again. So it's around
Oh,
40
okay.
now in English. Yeah. Every month I learn something new,
Yeah.
maybe more from experience, and I like to keep everything updated. Also, the market cycles kind of change. Sometimes you can be more aggressive, sometimes you need to be more careful. And that's what I noticed also in teaching. When I taught a specific style of trading, let's say more aggressive, like on the lower time frames, high risk reward,
Yeah.
that doesn't work for a lot of people. You need to be very good when it comes to your psychology, to take a lot of losses to then have the win that goes. So that's where I transitioned to a more conservative trading style. So like a 1-to-1 risk reward, 1-to-2, something that everyone can do. And that worked very, very good for most of my students. Yeah.
Okay. With the 1-to-1, like is there any points in a trade where you'll add positions as it's going in your favor? I've read a book called Best Loser Wins by Tom Hogard, and he talks about like adding to winners because a lot of people tend to like add positions as it's going against them.
Losers.
Yeah, I don't know if that's part of your strategy or if that's something that you
Uh, Again, it's something that comes with the specific price action. I
Mhm.
don't really have a strategy based on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I see the big move happening on the 4 hour, and I know, let's say, price has a 100 pip range to the upside that price
Yeah.
can move towards, I can add positions when I'm 100% that price is going to go there. But
Got it.
usually I just like taking my profits and then waiting for the next setup to form, because when you have a
Okay.
move, you're usually going to have a retracement, and then you can
Right.
catch the retracement and risk your profits on that. It depends on the situation. Sometimes I do add positions when I'm very, very sure that price is
Yeah.
going to move and have a big move. But
Right.
that usually happens when there is news, to be honest, where price just goes into one direction. And
Right.
during news, it's very hard to catch a good entry. So yeah, sometimes a small percentage. I
Okay.
say, yeah.
So in the beginning when you're blowing account like the challenges, were there specific things that you were doing that were causing that, like over leveraging, adding too many positions? What was the main few reasons that were hindering?
Adding too many positions,
Okay.
over leveraging, and I still have that issue sometimes, which is a constant battle where I'm just kind of, I know price is gonna move one way, but I'm maybe entering too early, and then
Okay.
I size up too fast. That comes from my personal capital trading, because you don't have a daily drawdown when you're trading,
Yeah.
so you can kind of leave it run a little bit. And it happened to me so many times where price came and stopped me out because I was so close to daily drawdown, and then price just went my way. So that was a big problem that I had back then, and which I still have now, not that often, where I'm very sure price is going to move one way, but I'm just not entering at the proper time. I'm entering too early, and then I
Right.
kind of size up because price is really giving me confirmation, and then maybe I get wicked out on close to daily drawdown, and then price moves my way. So yeah, I'm trying
Right.
to combat that with having more patience in entering the setups, and
Yeah.
also using like a bigger stop loss, to let
Right.
price move a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Would you be willing to like to share your screen show, like maybe one of your most recent trades and kind of just go over
Oh
like a quick
yeah, sure. I
setup?
can share the GPP is the buy that I had on just before news. As I said, I start from the daily time frame, or
Yeah.
even monthly or weekly. So if we're looking at the monthly was very bullish. So
Yeah.
I'm expecting a bigger expansion to the upside, and then weekly also came down. So I was waiting for price, the next weekly candle, to basically see if we can continue to the upside. And daily, as you can see, it came. I just call them areas, zones. Some people call them supply demand. So let's say this is a demand area, because price made a high, retraced, kind of gave 1 week down, two rejections, and when the third rejection came in, that's when I kind of, and this is where timing really comes into the market, because I see that on the higher time frame forming. I see 4 hour going down pretty fast into that area. Weeks to the downside. Previous day we had a week to the upside for liquidity. So at this point I was expecting price to maybe break this low, but it didn't. So it kind of stayed in the same area, and then came a little bit down. And this is also where the session cycle comes in, because this was one New York low that was put in, and this was the second New York low that was put in. So I was kind of expecting, when I see something like this, I'm expecting either a third low put in the market in near session and then price moving to the upside. And that's exactly what basically happened. And it comes to timing, because this was Monday. This was Monday and Tuesday we kind of played around in the range. As I said here, we took liquidity to the upside. We came down, but we didn't really break below, and then price came back into the range. So I kind of look at the next day. It's Wednesday. I know a big move is probably gonna come on Wednesday. And at this point, we also had FOMC near the end of near session. So that's just the kick that the market needs to kind of move. So I just waited for price to come near the lows again in near session. So once it came here, that's where I basically took my entry right here. And for this one, again, I used a bigger stop loss. So I used like a 25 pip stop loss, just in case price wants to weak, And this is another situation where you kind of just let price play out based on how it forms. When daily closed like this, I just knew like the next daily candle is probably going to expand to the upside, because it was looking very good. And also weekly was forming very nicely. So this is a point where I just maybe take profit and leave a runner. But this is a very, let's say, textbook setup that I have. Even if it comes with news, I think news is just like the proper kick that the market needs to start moving. Like I said, I use very, very simple market structure, not a lot of things. But I also have, like, let's say, intraday setups where I kind of use maybe a Fibonacci retracement. But usually it's just market structure, and when I know price is gonna move based on the higher time frames, and then just try to find the best entry possible. With a good risk reward based on the higher time frame targets. Now for GU, because I know it's Tuesday and we have some news coming from tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. I may be expecting some pullback bearish from that area before moving more to the upside, just because you kind of have to take some liquidity before that.
And then for that specific trade that you took, was that like, what was your risk on that trade? Did you use that on like across all the accounts, or like how
I used 1%
1%?
setup, because it was a bigger stop loss, 25 pips. So that's fine.
And then that move, it happened pretty quickly. Like, did you like what point did you take some partials and then let rest run?
So
or
because I knew that usually based on my data, FOMC kind of goes one way very aggressively. I just waited to see how price action develops. Usually if price wants to go the other way, you have the initial move and then price kind of comes down. In this case, there was no bearish candles at all, so there was no reason to really close. I just took partials right here when price started to range, was coming close to the market open, because it was Wednesday. Wednesdays the swaps are double. So I didn't really want to lose money. So that's the point where I closed like 80% of my trade, because the risk reward was very good. And then I was looking for sells to retrace, and unfortunately my sell, because I got a sell limit at 1.28, which is the institutional level. Once price kind of range, we took the high. So I was kind of expecting a retracement, also because it's December. So December usually likes to range. Price took Asia low, was coming for the Asia high. I kind of wanted to see, also coming next close to New York. So I kind of wanted to see a wake up, and then coming down. But unfortunately that got missed by like 10 pips, and then price retraced. And for a move like that, I maybe take a Fibonacci retracement to see where price can retrace.
Yeah.
So let's say if I was to go short from there, I was gonna target my take profits around this level right here, 0.62, 0.7.
Okay.
And as you can see here, we did have a small reaction and then price came down in this area.
Is there at some point that you like bring your stop loss to break even, or do you do that?
Yeah, after a 1-to-1, I usually go break even, or after I see a break of structure.
Okay.
That's like the best confirmation. But
Okay.
usually when I see a break of structure, I'm also like getting a 1-to-1.
Okay. Are you like entering all of your trades like market execution, or how do you approach that?
Yeah, most of the times, yeah. Unless I have, like I said here, there was the 1.28 level where I just set a sell limit in case it wicks up. So sometimes I do set a sell or buy limit, but most usually it's just market execution.
Do you ever look at like trend lines, or do you ever look at like anything? I mean, obviously you kind of showed the Fibonacci, but is there any?
No, in terms of other things, not really. I just look at market structure and then wait for retracement. So now that I see, price is heading on the 4 hours heading towards the lows and it's bearish, I just keep looking for sells. So just draw out a retracement and see where price may react. So maybe it comes here near my 0.62 area. Maybe I just enter here, cover something like this, go for a 1-to-1.
Yeah.
If I miss that, a new low gets put in, just very basic market structure, wait for the retracement, and then maybe take the sell from there, close before market open, and just, watch how the market is behaving. Like here in New York, at this point, I would just stop looking for sells because price came down during London. New York is closing by. It's heading towards the Asia low liquidity. Gives a lot of rejection to the downside. And then I would probably take a buy here. So it's just intraday moves.
Right.
No trend lines,
and
nothing like that. I don't think it works.
You're not using the EMA on like the lower time frames at all. That's just there for the higher time frames.
No, it's just daily, just like an overall bias. Let's say, like here it's above the EMA, so price is bullish.
Man, I really appreciate you going over this. This is huge. I'm absorbing a lot of this information. It's cool to see your perspective on the markets here. So I really
it's nothing complicated. It's just experience, to be honest. Understanding how the market moves and when it's gonna move and why it's gonna move, and that's basically it.
Thanks for sharing, man. I wanted to ask you as well, as far as like with your students, is there like a certain trait that you notice with your most successful students, something that they're doing that other students aren't doing that have brought them to where they are, because this might be interesting to see success in other people that you're kind of putting that like knowledge into.
Yeah, I do see a pattern. The pattern is usually people who are not really active on any communities, people that are just asking questions in private, people that are just really studying all the videos, all the content, and then putting the work in on the charts. So the silent ones that actually put the work in, it comes a lot down to age and mindset, I've noticed. So people over 26, 27, maybe even over 30. There's a higher percentage of them who actually start making money and become profitable because it's just the mindset, right? They have maybe they have a stable job, they have a good financial situation. So trading is like something on the side. And also they're not putting a lot of time into it. So they're not obsessed, every day. They have other responsibilities and they have a clear mind. But one of the biggest things is just time, to be honest. The ones that actually become profitable are the ones that joined 2 years ago and did a struggled for 2 years and then now started to see success, when usually people just give up after 3 months or 4 months and they get mad because they didn't make money.
I mean, you got to put in the work. It's like this is like a skill that you have to, any other skill, like any other job, like you have to like put in the work to get there, right? Like you have to put in at least like a year, like, you know what I mean? Like a year and a half, like you got to get in there.
I think more. Especially when it comes to trading, people don't really understand how powerful trading is. It gives you freedom of money and also freedom of time and also freedom of location. So the biggest one, I think, in today's age is the freedom of location. So where you don't depend on anyone and you can do it from, I know it's cliche to say like from anywhere in the world, but that's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
We live in a world where maybe the next war starts tomorrow, the World War III. What are you gonna do, or something bad happens in your country? Because when you have a business, unless it's like an online business, service-based or something, and you're depending on one location, it's very hard to have a good life. But trading is the only, let's say, career that brings you all three. So you have unlimited scaling capacity because you can scale, capital, prop firms, private investors. It's the same skill, and also location. You can go anywhere, you can relocate anywhere you like, and then you can do it from there. So I think it's very important, and people are not willing to work, like you said, 1 year or 2 years for that. They're just giving up, which is crazy.
Well, it's interesting because it's like, like you said, it's the ones that were most successful. Maybe they have like another job, so they're not as stressed out about, I need to get these bills paid. With trading, I have those covered right now. And with the little bit expendable income that I have, I can work on, obtaining prop firm capital or trade my life funds or whatever. So maybe that's like part of that, right?
Yeah, you need something on the side because otherwise it's going to be very hard. Like trading is a very hard skill to make money.
Yeah.
Me looking back at it, if I was to start something else, I would probably just start like an online business that's dependent on other skills, not trading, because trading is like the hardest way to make a lot of money. But it's something that gets scalable over time, So that's the beauty of it. You just keep getting better every year. But yeah, it's one of the most difficult, let's say, skills to make $1 million from. It's way easier through another business.
And as far as like with your, is it an academy? Like the NFX trading is your academy?
Yeah.
Let's say like there's, people like listening to this podcast right now and they're, interested to connect with you or, join you. How do they do that?
I mean, my Instagram, Andrew NFX, my Twitter, I'm very active there.
Okay.
Or X, however it's called, Andrew _ NFX.
Okay.
And my website is tradingnfx.com. Also, I have a YouTube channel that I started, Andrew NFX also, where I do post a lot of interesting, where I also posted like my whole portfolio in trading capital. So that's very, very interesting. And I did a video now. It's just going to get it edited and with the $6 million portfolio, where I basically, what I do is I show, like on the MetaTrader, I show every account that I have live with the history and the capital and everything. Because I know there's a lot of people saying, oh, I'm $3 million funded, but they never show, any proof to that.
Yeah. Let's say like someone that's listening right now, they're interested in joining and they're, maybe they're a little bit hesitant about it or they're just like kind of feeling on edge. Like, what would you say to them as far as taking that leap? Or, maybe they're feeling like they're at that phase where they're inconsistent, maybe they're break even. What would you say to them to sort of help them kind of move forward?
It's very easy. When you want to achieve something in life, you just look for someone who did the exact same thing, and that is also like you can also replicate. So when you look in the trading sphere, maybe you see some guy on Instagram that has 5 cars and is trading a personal account and he's making 100K in a day. Can you really do that as a beginner?
Right.
You cannot do that, right? So look for people. I'm not saying look for me, but look for some traders that do what you want to do. That's why platforms are very good, because you can scale the capital so much, and a lot of traders did it, like I did it. And you don't really, it's something that anyone can achieve, right? Because you don't need capital to make 100K in a day, right? You just need some money to start coming in and then build on that. So that's why I say to people, look for a mentor that has resources that you can replicate, that are close by to you, let's say, that you can achieve also. Maybe not today, maybe not in a month, maybe in a year, but that you can also achieve, and if you follow their process. I think that's the biggest thing.
That's awesome. Thanks. I appreciate you sharing that. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience that, any last words, anything else that you maybe want to mention about your academy or anything?
No, I don't really want to promote my stuff. Like I said, it's very time consuming.
Sure.
I don't really want to do that. I think the most important thing is focusing on their journey. Nowadays, it's very hard to stay focused when there's like TikTok basically brainwashed the whole world. The attention span is very hard to stay focused. People are on Instagram or Twitter commenting on other people's posts the whole day, and they maybe look at the charts 1 hour. So kind of try to remove everything. If you first think about, if you really want to be a trader, you need to put, in balance all the rewards that you're going to have, and also like what you have to sacrifice. because you do have to sacrifice a lot of things. Not everyone can be a profitable trader. So first, just think if you really want to do this, like if you're really passionate about it and if you're really willing to give everything to become a profitable trader. And if the answer is yes, then close yourself in a room and just put the work in for a year, 2 years without really looking at the money. So just focus on discipline, maybe consistency, trading the same pairs every day, watching the market, really refining your trading plan, journaling, trading a small live account to feel emotions. It's like any other job. Just go through everything and focus on that, and don't look at what the other people are doing, because you know how social media is. It's mostly fake.
Yeah, totally. Man, I'm inspired. I know that the audience is inspired by this podcast. I hope
Hopefully.
you join us on another podcast soon, and I wish you
All
the
right.
best of luck on your journey. And
Thank you.
thank you so much. I appreciate you a lot, Andrew. This is awesome.
Thank you too. Hopefully we'll
Yeah.
do another one.
All right. Well, we're going to
Thank
wrap
you.
this up, guys. Thank you for another TFT interview, and we'll see you guys in the next one.